I guess you could say, had to be said about the upcoming draft of Michael Penix Jr. Which, by the way, I wish nothing but great success to the young man. But it seems to be a common theme now on Twitter with um, basically drafting this kid. I guess supposedly if he does fall that far down, you got TD, who's a big Miami Dolphins fan, criticizing criticizing Chris Greer about if he gives to an extension or a big contract, he'll be fired in 2026, and then the team will implode. Then he also said, on the other hand, if you don't give to a contract and things fall apart, you still get fired in 2026, unless he drafts Michael Penix, and I guess he should, or he will be able to save the franchise. Just, I don't get it. I don't understand the logic. But I did look up some interesting stats. So Michael Penix played 6 years in college. Two only played three. I guess you could say Michael Penix was a 6-year senior. I guess he started when he was 17, because according to ESPN, he's only 23. So played 6 years in college. Played four at Indiana. Then transferred to Washington for his final 2 years. And all that time, he's put up 10,000 yards, 10,000 and some change. He put up 95 touchdowns and he had 11 interceptions. Well, not really 11, but he had, altogether, I think he had like maybe 21 interceptions. Compare that to Tua's collegiate career, who only played 3 seasons. He put up 74, 42, had 87 touchdowns and 11 picks in 3 years, with a rating of 199.1. Now, I read all this just now, so that's how I know the numbers. So if you really do the math, Michael Penix threw just 2,000, roughly 2,800 more yards, probably no, not 28, 2,600 more yards, and he had like 8 more touchdowns. So their college careers are pretty much even. The only difference is Tua didn't stay had Tua stayed his senior year, he puts up like, what is it, 11,000 plus yards. Yeah, 11,000, because he can put up about 4,000 yards his senior year, but he vouched, or he decided, or he opted to go pro before his senior year. So, and that's because he stayed. That's because he got injured. He had a major hip injury in college. So consider that, for him to be a blessing to go to the next level. But the two are not that comparable. Yes, they're both left-handed quarterbacks. Yes, it seems that Michael Penix has a big arm, but we're talking about a kid that went to Washington who had two receivers that both got over 1,000 yards. Now you also talking about Tua, who went to Alabama, who had Henry Ruggs, he had Jalen Waddle, he had Devontae Smith, and he had Jerry Jeudy, and he had Irv Smith. So he had five, compared to Michael Penix, who only had two guys that both put up 1,000 yards. However, all five of those guys are just named. They all had over 500 yards receiving, damn near, because Tua spread the wealth completely. His sophomore campaign, he put up. His sophomore campaign, he put up like 3,900 yards and like, I think, 36 touchdowns. So, and he was on his way his junior year to put up astronomical numbers, but he had the major hip injury, and so it derailed him, and he went pro. But to TD, like I asked you before on Twitter, what does Michael Penix drafting, what would that do for the current climate of Miami? What is that going to do for that team? Because now you have to shield a rookie who's not going to learn much on the fly outside of basic coverages during the regular season. Then once you get to the postseason, you're ramping up the pressure, the expectations, and everything else that comes with it, along with teams understanding his tendencies, limitations, and capabilities. All that gets wrapped into a season, and now you're not fully jailed like you already should be. You got to go through the growing pains all over again. For what reason? Did you not just spend the last 2 years going through growing pains with a finally healthy Tua from last season, and the year before that, Tua was hurt, but they got to the postseason, and they also made the postseason this year, but they got beat in basically inclement weather because it was beyond freezing in Kansas City. And Tua, he played a shitty game. I'm not gonna say he didn't. He did. Even he would admit he had a shitty game. But I think they all learned from this. The most important thing they took out of this is win your damn games and you're supposed to win them. So you can have a home playoff game. So you don't have to travel to Buffalo or Kansas City or New York for Christ's sake in January. That's not where you want to be. If you're a fair weather warm team, you stay in your elements, especially when you have an opportunity to win games like that. So they learn from that. But if you get Michael Penix, first of all, you have to rewire the offense to cater to what he does very well, which it seems to be most of the time he's a pocket passer, but when he has to run, he will run. He's not Michael Vick. He's not going to dash you with, electrifying speed, but he's able to, to put the ball down the field and get splash plays. He's not the most accurate thrower of the football either. So if that's the case, then he wouldn't have lost to Michigan in that championship game. They would have beat Michigan because I expected them to beat them, but they didn't. They got blowed out. So this whole notion that he's gonna come and basically set the Dolphins on fire with his play, to me it's not so much of a joke, but it's a slap in the face to what Tua's already done in Miami. Not to mention that who cares if he gets a contract extension? If you believe he's the guy, he should get paid like he's the guy. All I said was, hey, I just want to see the 4 things he's going to work on this season, and I want to see him win at least one or two playoff games. That's not unrealistic. That's very fair. It gives people and fans and the front office an opportunity to see, okay, well, in his 5th year, the complete maturation process has unfolded. He can now carry this franchise for the next 5 to 6 years, and he can possibly get us a Super Bowl or 2. I'm happy with 1 Super Bowl. If you win 1 Super Bowl and it's Tua that led the way, that's bragging rights for eternity. Because not a lot of people can say, hey, you had a lefty quarterback that actually, besides Steve Young and maybe a handful of other guys, you can't say that you had a quarterback who's a lefty that leads you to a Super Bowl. And he's doing this in the modern era where you got Patrick Mahomes who's killing it with 3 Super Bowls. You also have Joe Burrow, when he's not injured, he was leading Cincinnati to the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts led the team to the Super Bowl. So to be in that category, but to win it is a whole nother upper echelon that he'll be exposed to. So I'm not gonna sit here and say I agree with drafting a rookie that's not proven much in college besides the last 2 years that he had. And you're putting all your hopes and dreams of building this franchise in the right direction via going to get him in the draft and then dumping Tua off to the side. Because if Tua goes to an actual team, like let's just say he goes to Atlanta or Seattle, or hell, we'll stick with Atlanta. If Tua goes to Atlanta, they will become a playoff team. Because Atlanta's not gonna move. They're not gonna move off a lot of pieces, but you can get a 2nd round pick for Tua. You can do that. And he already has Bichon. He would have Drake London. He also have Kyle Pitts. Is that not a good enough upper echelon to work with? Those are 3 key pieces. There you go. You got a dynamic receiver, a up and coming, soon to be superstar tight end, and a hell of a hellacious, young, thirsty running back who can make plays, who can catch out the backfield, who can run between the tackles, who can also pick up blitz assignments and stuff like that, and is a very, very elusive running back. And you got a quarterback that's pinpoint accurate that can put that bit right on you before you even turn your head to see where the ball is coming. But same thing with Seattle. DK Metcalf, Justin Lockett, or Jordan Lockett. You got Fant out there, the tight end that hopefully, if they don't re-sign him, Seattle's stupid because they got a core out there. Their offensive line is pretty good as well, and they got a hellacious defense. So do you really want to see Tua in Seattle? I don't think you do. Even though that division is competitive with the Rams, and you also got the 49ers. But if you put him out there, he gonna be busting some heads. He's gonna do it. So you can't sit here and say, oh, for sure we need to go get um, Michael Penix. It's not the bash Penix, but I hate when they put these lofty expectations on rookies and then say, oh well, he's able to handle it. I've seen him do it. You ever seen him do anything? He won one semifinal game in the college football playoff. That's all he did. So let's not pretend like every year in college he was just in that championship game. That's not the case. So he's not a top tier proven quarterback to where you can say, oh, we could just hand him the keys and he could take off. No. He has to take baby steps like everybody else. Unfortunate for players like Caleb Williams, he won't be given the opportunity. He's going to be thrown into the fire from the very moment he says, I've arrived. He's going to be thrown into the fire of the NFL. Because Chicago Bears are going to say, here, learn it, apply it, go get some games for us. Go win some ball games. And for him, it would not be, oh, he's a rookie, da da da. I mean, yeah, they'll say that, but they're going to dissect everything he does and says over the next 4 to 5 years. And God forbid if he gets labeled as a bust. Because they're going to make it to where, every play he's made, every decision he made, every throw he made, every turnover that he's committed, they're going to astronomically blow it up and compare the other number one overall picks of quarterbacks. And I'm hoping that he'll do a lot better than what Baker Mayfield did and some other guys. So we're going to see what he's made of, once the lights get bright. But this is not about Caleb. This is about Michael Penix. And I'm not sold on the fact that he can go out there and actually lead your team or lead the Dolphins to 11 and 12 wins. Tua did that last year and he was completely healthy. Now, I do believe this year they can win 13 games. The question is how Miami's going to shift this roster, because you still got, which I spoke about earlier, is Christian Wilkins. Then you saying bye-bye to Xavier Howard. So what if you do have to get to those, if you have to replace those pieces, how will you do so? Because if Houston wants Christian, I'm getting the first and second. Therefore, I can replenish what I'm losing. You can go in the middle, in the bottom tier of the first round. You can get a stud DT. You can get one. Because I don't see the need to go get a corner, and you can also try to go get you a middle linebacker, or you can package together 2 of those first round picks to a team. Hey, we want such and such. Are you willing to do that? They say yes, then you've already acquired one of the missing pieces you need for your season success that's coming for the upcoming season. Or you could sit back and see which one of those dynamite young players have fallen in the draft in the first round. And if it's somebody you want, you'll have the 21st pick, and hopefully the 23rd pick to do that. Pending if you can get Houston to give up a first and a second to acquire Wilkins off your hands. Now, if you can pull that off, Chris Greer, great. The defense will be, to me, they will be in a position to win and win now. Because to me, the window for them is closing, because I think that Mahomes, if they don't win this year, I'm not gonna say they're guaranteed to win the next 2 or 3, but they're guaranteed to be in position. I don't see the Chiefs going away anytime soon. So Miami has to be in a, hey, let's compete now for the next 4 or 5 years to at least try to win 2 Lombardis. You win 2 out of 4 is pretty damn good. Because you see the Chiefs have won 3 out of 4, which is pretty damn great. And I want Tua to be able to raise 2 of those Lombardi trophies before his career is done. He ain't got to be no 5, 6-time champion. That's for the birds. But if you win 2 Lombardis like Eli or Peyton, hey, what can they say about you? If you win 3 like Shannon Sharp, you can start to talk for real. But if you win 2 of them, hey, I'm a 2-time Super Bowl champion. I'm also might be soon to be 2-time Super Bowl MVP, possibly regular season MVP. Along with that, I got so many Pro Bowl appearances. I've done this and this and this. Now this is Tua. I've done this and this and this, and I should be in the Hall of Football, the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I should be in that ballot. But we're talking about for this year alone, the one that's coming. If I'm the Dolphins, I don't think about Michael Penix because some other teams gonna get him. I pray the Atlanta Falcons are smart enough to go get him because they need a quarterback bad. If Atlanta is stupid enough to let that boy drop, when I think they got the 7th pick, I believe it is, or something like that. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I haven't pulled up the draft order, but I know the Falcons up there in the top 10. If if that's the case, then Atlanta should go get that boy. They should go get Michael Penix. Oh, they should go and get him what the pick they have in the first round. How you doing, Ty? I don't know why you said thank you, but um, maybe it's probably something I said earlier. But that's what I would go do because Miami don't need him. I mean, truth be told, Miami has enough playmakers. Now maybe they might get greedy and try to go get Xavier Worthy. But to me, I mean, I would much rather have a dude that's 6'3", 6'4", because in jump ball situations, you can actually utilize that type of receiver. At my height or Tyreek height, we ain't gonna win many jump balls. Now our vertical might be 40. It might, while you're young, hell yeah, your vertical gonna be 40 plus. When you get old, that the number comes on down. So you're not jumping 40 plus. You're not jumping 40 off the ground. You'll be lucky you jump 34. So with that being said, you choose height over, you choose height over substance. Substance meaning your ability to jump, all other kind of stuff that will fizzle out with age and time. When you 6'4", as you get older, it ain't gonna change. You still 6'4", but you can at least get contested catches, stuff like that, end zone fade routes and stuff like that. You can do that, and it ain't got to be the prettiest pass, but because Tua throws very catchable fade routes, you can go up there as a 6'4" receiver. You can go get that, and you can make his life a lot easier versus Xavier Worthy, who his first 3-4 years, let's be real, he's gonna be a lightning rod. He's gonna be flying up and down the field until he takes a big hit or